Attitudes towards same-sex relationships have come a long way since this 1960s American propaganda film aimed at educating schoolchildren about the dangers of homosexuals.
Jimmy hadn't enjoyed himself so much in a long time. Then during lunch, Ralph showed him some pornographic pictures. Jimmy knew he shouldn't be interested, but, well, he was curious. What Jimmy didn't know was that Ralph was sick, a sickness that was not visible like smallpox, but no less dangerous and contagious, a sickness of the mind. You see, Ralph was a homosexual, a person who demands an intimate relationship with members of their own sex.
As part of our exploration into how far gay rights have come in Newcastle, we went out into the street and asked members of the public for their thoughts.
It's come a long way. I mean, Newcastle was once seen as like one of the sort of friendliest places, I think, in England, sort of seen as most accepting and things of that nature. But it's definitely not. I mean, there's always underlying tones everywhere.
I think all human rights should be protected by legislation, but then again, I don't really believe in legislation. I think there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. I suppose gay rights has come a long way in a lot of ways. You know, like I do photography, and there's a guy called Angus MacBean who was one of Britain's greatest photographers. He was homosexual, and he was locked up in jail for his homosexuality, and that's only 70 years ago. You know.
In a number of our blogs, we talked about provisions under the Equality Bill, specifically its shortcomings regarding the right for gay couples to marry and the use of religious premises to do so.
I think marriage is just a symbol of religion, so I can't see how. I mean, I'm straight, I'm not a gay person, but if I was a gay person, I think I'd just completely turn my back on religion, because there's so many religious figures that are just like anti-gay. Why get married when it's basically a hallmark of religion? It was fundamentally founded through religion, so I can't see why I'd want to get married if I was a gay person.
So, yeah, and understandably, I reckon they should be allowed to.
Yeah,
in that sense.
They should be allowed to, but I just don't see why I'd want to if I was a gay person, because there's just so the Pope himself like anti-gay marriage, isn't he? I don't really know. If the Pope, if your belief is Catholic and the leader of your church is anti-gay, why are you gonna kind of prostitute yourself towards someone who's anti-gay?
In another example of discrimination still at work in our society, sexually active gay men are banned for life from giving blood, regardless of how safe and healthy they are.
HIV and syphilis rates are still higher among gay men, but a lot of them are old cases.
Yeah, they're the same
from the 80s, you know what I mean? Whereas,
because obviously you're not going to get rid of it, so it's going to be a constant thing.
There's not the same amount of rise that there is among straight people, I think, as well. It seems to be like choosing a lot worse lives. And to be honest, a lot of the gay community are a lot safer. Gay men are a lot safer because they're aware, they've got a lot more promotion.
Understanding, they're very well educated on it, aren't they?
Yeah, and have and often practice a lot safer sex than most of the heterosexual people you talk to, who just don't see it as being their problem. They haven't got it the same in their consciousness.
From our responses, it is clear that attitudes are changing for the better, but legislation that only goes some way in creating equality, and legislation that discriminates against blood donors, shows that more is needed to bring us into a new generation of understanding and equality, far from the hatred of 50 years ago.
Be careful if they are too friendly, if they try to win your confidence too quickly, and if they become overly personal. One never knows when the homosexual is about. He may appear normal, and it may be too late when you discover he is mentally ill. So keep with your group, and don't go off alone with strangers unless you have the permission of your parent or teacher.